Yokoso minasan, and welcome to Revive Me Bros episode of Ghost of Tsushima Legends. I am your samurai, Master Rein, and I am joined by the assassin, Silly Squirrel. Silly, how are you tonight?
Hello, I am ready to kill Mongos.
Yes, dude. Shout out to Uncle Iroh's voice, bro.
Dude, heck yeah.
Dude, I love his voice, man. Every time you play Legends and he's just like, let me tell you a tale.
I
like,
know.
Goosebumps every time.
It's like, are you going to sing a song this time? Sing us a song.
Well, welcome everyone to our episode of our review of Ghost of Tsushima Legends. We are so excited to just gush over this game over you guys. We've got so much to say here. So we're really excited to get started. We've got quite the episode for y'all.
Yep. And also we know that we've it's been a few weeks since we last released a podcast. So I just wanted to let you all know that this last month proved very difficult for the both of us. And so, but now we're setting up schedules. We have stuff planned for the podcast ahead, and we're streaming a lot more. So, we're ready to keep going where we left off.
Definitely check us out on Twitch.
Now that you said that, you just want me to do the PSA? All right, so we are available in Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can also find us on Instagram at ReviveMeBroGames and Twitter at ReviveMeBro. Remember to subscribe, leave us a comment, give us a rating, and hit us up on any of our social networks. We love to hear from y'all, and your support means the world to us. Also, as Master Rein just said, you can catch us streaming on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. We would recommend to join us on Twitch, but well, some people like YouTube, some people like Facebook, and to be honest, we've had viewers and what would you call it, like chatters on all three. So
for sure, yeah.
So just hit us up whenever you see us online playing games.
Yeah, definitely. We definitely will try to ask you to come to the Twitch chat, just because, if you don't know already, Twitch's chat is the quickest, most responsive chat, and all the other ones and the streaming channels, there's a 5-second delay from the time the streamer sees your comment to the time that they can respond from the time you hear it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or whatever. It's a 5-second delay or whatever. On YouTube and Facebook, it's a little bit longer. Unfortunately, it's about 40 seconds, but it doesn't mean we're not going to stream on there, because we definitely want to reach out to you guys however way we can, because we love hanging out with you, and we definitely want to make sure y'all can find us.
And to be honest, this last month, even though we haven't been able to record a podcast, we've been streaming a lot, and the people that just show up and chat with us and enjoy our podcast, it's been not only incredibly heartwarming, but so much fun, and we really want everyone to join us. I can see why people like to stream, to be honest. It's this is amazing.
Oh yeah. I think the community really is what makes streaming great. You can have a great streamer that are great at games and all that kind of stuff, but when the chat's going off and chat's having a fun time and people are asking questions and we're just making jokes and whatever, I love it. I love it. I'll stay up. I try not to stay up all night, but we probably could stay up all night.
Oh yeah, totally. And by the end of the podcast, we will have some shout outs. So stick around if you want to hear your name.
Oh yeah. So now time for the news. News break alert. All right. For our first up of the news. Just kidding. I'm not going to talk like that. I'm just sorry, y'all.
It's okay.
Halo Season 5 has just arrived on the Master Chief Collection. And let me tell you, I am so happy that there is more content coming out for the MCC. I think we all knew that there was stuff coming out, or if you're playing on the Master Chief Collection, you knew that there was going to be an update coming out eventually. Mm-hmm. I'm just really glad that they're taking their time, to look at the game and really make it better.
And you know what? Like, what's funny is that, you and I have been playing a lot of Master Chief Collection. And for everyone who's been watching our streams, like, again, thank you so much for watching us go through the whole Master Chief Collection. I know we've yet to do the Halo 3 rundown, but we're one of these days, guys, we're really close to setting it up. And then after that, Halo 4. But anyway, no, yes. and like, this is great because it's like, you and I have been playing multiplayer and we've been playing the campaigns. And so to see that the game is still getting a lot of support, after so many years of being released, it makes me just want to like support it even more. As much as you and I love the Halo games, the fact that 343 is just churning out stuff for the MCC before Halo Infinite, it's I don't know, it just tells you that these guys really love their the IP, and I mean, they could easily just release these and never really update them. So I'm just glad they're that we're getting armor, new helmets, they're fixing some bugs. There's this Torito problem that Master Rein and I have been dealing with that hopefully they're going to address soon. If you guys have any issues with that, let us know. We can definitely help you guys out. But the fix is a little bit annoying. But once you get it, it doesn't take that much to fix it.
Yeah, it is definitely frustrating though that before our streams, we're definitely going into, hitting start and you're typing in Xbox live settings and doing all the mess and making sure it works. And, it's unfortunately on the PC side of things, that's one of those things that if you're a PC gamer, you have to know that you've probably dealt with having to go into some like computer settings that you weren't really too aware of before and having to mess with a file that you weren't too aware of before. So it's, one of those PC gaming things, but thankfully it's not really an issue on the Xbox. So that's good.
Yeah. But anyway, some of the content that they're going to update us is most notably the Halo Reach and Halo 3 customization options. We do know that they're going to put on 10 new nameplates. More specifically to that, they're going to add like armor and helmets and chest armor, et cetera, et cetera. I know it's just Reach and Halo 3, but to be honest, those are the ones that are like hitting big with the multiplayer right now. And it's, Reach, so much fun.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh, dude, it's so cool. It's so cool to see too, like people are on it, man. Like we're getting on it. And our next bit of news, it's actually more Halo news.
What?
Halo Infinite. So Halo Infinite, y'all, is on the way this year. Very excited, very happy. Let's hope it's this year.
Can't wait.
I think we can all agree after the Cyberpunk fiasco that waiting for the game to be complete is definitely the way to go.
I think 343 was looking closely at how Cyberpunk dealt with everything. It's like, we should probably not do that.
Yes, exactly. But thankfully they're working hard on Halo Infinite, and I think that what's it called? 343 really wants people to get excited about obviously Halo Infinite because like Halo was in such a bad place. Not really a bad place, but it's
but Halo 5 left everyone, with a bittersweet taste.
Yeah, exactly. Bittersweet taste. That's the best way to put it. Dude, thank you. So I think they know that they have to like really step up their game right now, right? And really like get like people, not just fancy trailers, but like gameplay, content, what's coming out, right? So what they're doing is they're creating a new series called Inside Infinite. It's going to be a recurring series that will hit the Halo Waypoint online, like the website. And it will be about the last Thursday of every month. And it's going to just be more insight on the game, like the levels, people making it. And they're trying to be like on top of those updates every month. We'll see. I kind of want to try to hold them accountable to that update every month because honestly, I want Halo Infinite to be the best Halo game, aside from the point. But you'll actually be able to, I think, tweet at them after those updates using hashtag Ask343, and they're going to be trying to respond to the community. So if there's any questions, y'all want us to ask them? I mean, we definitely have a Twitter that we're starting to grow. So we'll definitely reach out to them if that's what you'd like, or if we come up with a question, we'll definitely do it as well, right? But we'll see as the updates come out, and we'll update you as those updates come out.
And last thing I want to say is that it seems like 343 is definitely following the footsteps of Rockstar Games, which in the past what they do is they release a lot of trailers and videos regarding what the game is going to offer and some of the updates they're doing. In this case, though, of course, they're trying to go with more of the social media aspect of everything, right? So not only are they going to give us updates, but like Mr. Rein just said, like we will be able to actually communicate our concerns or our questions to 343. And again, hopefully they'll listen to us. But I mean, these are really good steps. And this is just, if anything, just gets me even more excited to that once that we do get Halo Infinite, it's going to be the complete package.
Oh man, let's hope. Let's
just hope. But anyway, what's our next piece of news?
Next piece of news. If you haven't heard about this next piece of news, the game stonks, baby. Game stonks. Okay.
Dude, I almost bought GameSpot stocks like a year ago when they were like $4. I regret not buying.
No, I know. But the thing is about the market, dude, there's always that opportunity. I mean, if you're on it and you're looking for these opportunities to come up, like I said, you'll find them, right?
Oh,
but this one was crazy. We're not going to go into it right now because obviously to describe what's actually happening with game stonks, it's going to take forever. But definitely look it up. Definitely educate yourself if you haven't heard about it, enough because it's a crazy situation. And I think it's kind of like illuminating to the markets and stuff. Mm-hmm. And you're going to keep hearing about it on the news and we'll keep covering it because it's GameStop. This is so funny, dude. Oh my gosh. Of all the stocks, dude.
Yeah, GameStop. But yeah, the one thing though I'll have to say is that as much as I love what happened, it does make me a little concerned because it's like, yes, like we all, we were all really happy that, that everyone was able to raise the price of the GameStop stock. And obviously that kind of keeps them afloat. But just as quickly as they went up, they're falling back down. Now, granted, they're still in a good position. I think they're like $100 a share, which to be honest is not bad. But compared to like 500, 400, where it was, if I'm correct, just a week or two ago, like it's
a roller coaster.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it's you're still gambling. You're still playing with the stocks. And it's like, it's not going to surprise me from here on out. Apps like Robinhood or Stash or stuff like that are going to have even more restrictions, on how much you can buy. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like it's a very dangerous game,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. You can make a lot of money and that's great, but just as you can make a lot of money, you can actually lose a lot of money. So
when you said it's a dangerous game, that reminded me. So the SEC is going to start investigations into the game stonks, but they're not gonna. I don't think they're actually gonna investigate Robinhood. I think they're actually gonna investigate Reddit and Wall Street Bets and figure out like if there was fraud there or something like that.
All right, so what's our next piece of gaming news?
Talking about free market, son. So did you know that the European Union, okay, I'm not talking like that. Did you know that the EU is considered a one marketplace area? Just kind of how American Airlines kind of considers like they're like a one world company or whatever. New World Order. Okay. Sorry, I'm just kidding. Anyways, I'm just kidding. But the European Union doesn't, they're trying to keep the marketplace fair across the countries because there's too much stuff, obviously, right? Companies like Valve, and if you're a PC gamer, you very much know what Valve does. They very much price their games according to regions, right? According to countries, according to areas, right? And the reason why, there could be many reasons why Valve may do this. It could be potential taxes of the area. It could be some taxes are higher in one country. And if Valve were to charge a $60 game in the US in a different country, somebody in a different country could be paying more. That's not quite fair, perhaps, or maybe like in a different area of the country. Let's say like in Indonesia, they're not really playing Doom or something. They're like, you know what? Let's try to make more Doom sales in Indonesia. Like, give them a good deal, I don't know. Like maybe there's something like that going on.
But the reason why we're saying all this is because Valve got fined by the EU, correct? By the European Commission.
Right, because what they don't want is they don't want companies to be pricing things differently in different regions. Valve could be doing it for completely consumer like good reasons, right? They could be actually benefiting like people in those areas or whatever. That's beside the point, right? Like I don't actually know too much about why Valve does that. But here's the thing, though: the European Union not only fined them, but also fined like Bandai Namco, Capcom, Focus Home, Koch Media, and ZeniMax all together for 7.8 million or euro, which is like 7.8 million euro, yeah, which is like I guess not that much for those companies, but those other companies were like, hey, you know what, EU, we'll work with you guys. Valve was just like, peace, dog. Yeah. We ain't listening to y'all. We don't play like that. Peace, deuces. We out. And they just say, you want to fine us? What's the money? They wrote that check, son. Yep. 1.6 million and slapped that shit on the table and said, I'm out. And Valve, they're not going to change. And apparently this is not even the first time they've been fined for doing this. They're just going to get fined more and more and more. But we'll see if they change their practice and they start like pricing all their games the same throughout the world.
You know, the thing is, what might happen here is that if this happens again, or I mean, you've been saying it's been happening multiple times already, but if I think at one point, someone, maybe the European Union or anywhere or whatever else, they're gonna come up with a lawsuit, you know, or something, and it's really gonna affect. Like, of course, 1 million is not a lot of money for Valve. I'm pretty sure they can make that in like less than an hour on a Steam sale. Like, honestly,
they made that just now in the time that you guys have been listening to this episode.
Yeah, so it's like
they made it.
I mean, there's a reason why they're a private company, right? So and this is one of them. It's like they can really do whatever the hell they want. So it's, I don't know how I feel about it. I think if you can buy the game for $5 in the US, you should buy it for $5 and everywhere else. But I know that different countries have different prices. Like an example, where
and taxes.
Exactly, and tax. Like Nicaragua, for example, which Masterin and I, you know, we lived there, and dude, we can tell you, buying games is ridiculous. They can charge you up to $90 to buy a brand new game.
Dude, I don't even buy clothes in Nicaragua, bro. But, like, it doesn't make sense.
But the point is, like, you know, like you go to the United States and you can probably find that same game for $30, you know. Boom. And so it's like, I think with digital purchases, it's like with digital purchases kind of like graying out all of this, kind of like making everything a little more equal. It's going to be interesting to see like what happens in the future. Like, will there be new laws in place? Will just other countries won't like play ball? Like, I mean, I don't know. That's a Valve problem. But speaking of Valve, they're making new games. So
I love Valve, dude. I don't care, Valve, dude. Gabe, be your hero.
like Gabe, you can like make a freaking like water bottle and put the Half-Life logo on it, and I'll freaking buy it. Like,
I'll buy it.
Yeah, like Nuka-Cola, make Lambda Cola. Just put that in my veins. You know, some orange juice.
Oh my God! Excellent. But the next piece of R&B news. The Xbox membership price, very interesting. Microsoft decided to, you know what? They're like, we need some more money. We decided we gave you guys too much free stuff and buying too many companies. Mm-hmm. We're gonna raise the price from $60 a year to $120 a year. Thank you so much for being our customer. We love you. Thank you for so much. And then what do people say?
Give me money.
What do people say to that you know, $60 extra per year? They said F that, bitch.
Yeah, and but so, you know what's interesting is like I just told you they're doing a special where you can pay $1 to get Game Pass for 3 months.
Huh? I wonder why.
So, but here's my theory. I think the reason why they're doing that with gold, where they're raising the prices, is not necessarily to like. Well, I mean, obviously they want to make more money, right? Like what company doesn't? But right. I think it's for. I think what they want to do, and again, this is just speculation, I think they want to see a decrease in people using their gold subscription. And that will give them enough reason to pull the plug on gold and put those resources on Game Pass. And then, and in other words, also to get people to just go to also to get people to go to Game Pass, quote unquote, full time. So I think it's just a move for them to like really, really streamline their Game Pass and just have one subscription. Like one subscription fits all. But I mean, we all know that Xbox right now is gonna milk the crap out of this Game Pass thing, and to be honest, it's such a good deal, guys. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, oh gosh, like I think I just downloaded a few games that I could have spent maybe $180 on these games, but I spent $10. You know, so and if you're brand new, you can spend $1 and play Doom Eternal. You know.
Yeah, Silly, do you want to tell us what the new Game Pass games are?
So, if you do have Game Pass or you're thinking of getting Game Pass, we highly recommend these 3 games. First one is Remedy's Control. If you love Max Payne, Alan Wake, or even what's that name? Quantum Break. If you really like those games, you're gonna freaking love Control. I'm actually playing Control right now, and it is mind bending and incredible. Ooh. If you have an OLED TV, like it's gonna look good. You know.
Gonna look sexy.
Oh yeah, okay. It's a wonderful game. Honestly, it boggles my like. I know, like, pun intended, so to speak. It boggles my mind. You know, it really does. The second game is Medium. It's a new game. It's an Xbox exclusive. It is also I think it's a survival horror game. Anyway, it looks very interesting, very good. It's had good reviews. A little bit of mixed reviews on some other sites, but overall, I think it looks like a really great survival horror. With a very interesting twist, and you know, it's a new IP, so might as well give it a shot for $1.
You said it's a new game that just came out, right?
It just came out.
Interesting that it's on the Game Pass already for $1, y'all. You can play it. It's the Game Pass.
And lastly,
that's what we're saying.
And lastly, like we said, Doom Eternal. That's all I need to say.
Yeah,
go play it.
And that is it for this episode of R&B News. And now it's time for Ghost of Tsushima.
Whoa.
Ghost of Tsushima, y'all, is Tsushima, however way you pronounce it. It is one of my favorite games now, dude. I am 31 years old. Boom. There you know. Now you know how
great,
I'm an old
great.
fart. There
now people know.
Great. Now people know. Anyways, I'm an old fart, and Ghost of Tsushima is now one of my favorite games of all time. I've been playing games since I've basically been in diapers, basically, I guess. You know?
Hey, me too, man.
Dude, it's wonderful. From the very first time you turn it on, dude, it's like one of the most beautiful games that I've ever seen. And I was just playing it on the base PS4, dude. I mean, I was playing it on like a nice HDR 4K TV. And obviously it's not in 4K, but it's just a bigger screen. And it's nicer and it's newer and whatever. It's got the game mode, so it looks a little bit faster and whatever. But damn, dude, that game is wow.
So, obviously this review is going to be talking more about the co-op aspect of it, Ghost of Tsushima Legends. But before we get started, we really want to just, sing our praises to the single player game. I just beat it not so long ago, and I'm pretty sure I put up to around 60 hours worth in the game. Yeah. I haven't fully completed it. I'm kind of still in the middle of that. But when we found out that this single player masterpiece was getting a free co-op DLC, it was my boy, we need to play this.
Yes,
and
dude.
Oh my gosh, do we have a lot of things to say about this. So, Ghost of Tsushima Legends is a co-op multiplayer mode of Ghost of Tsushima that was released on October 16, 2020. It is a cooperative mode in which players are able to choose from 4 available classes: Samurai, Hunter, Ronin, or Assassin. Legends is separate from the single-player campaign of Ghost of Tsushima, though certain items in Legends are unlocked through progression in Jin's journey, and it is a free download for owners of Ghost of Tsushima. Players are able to cooperatively take on new missions based on Japanese mythology. So, as you probably already guessed, I read that straight from the wiki. That's Ghost of Tsushima Legends, a co-op multiplayer where you can play with different classes and go through different missions and a story mode. It basically has its own story mode. It is Anyway.
Yeah. Too long didn't watch. It's probably better than Godfall.
Ooh, oh Lord, yeah.
And it was a free DLC.
Yeah, and I know what you're thinking. It's like you're thinking, but you still have to buy the base game in order to get this. True. You still have to spend your $60, or if you get it on a sale. But think about it. They could have charged you $10 for this, and it's still seriously, and it would have been worth it.
It's still they could have charged $10 and still been absolutely worth it. But
let me just put it this way: you're getting more bang for your buck than buying horse armor in Oblivion. Seriously.
Oh my god, that's so true, dude. But it's incredible because it's not just like a raid mode or whatever, or like a horde mode where like a bunch of enemies come at you. Like you said, there's a story mode to it, and the story is honestly fantastic. Uncle Iroh's voice is leading you through the story. It's wonderful, yo, and oh my god, the art, dude.
So what we're gonna do right now is we'll go through the story, we'll go through the graphics, we'll talk about mechanics, we'll talk a little bit about the AI, and then some of the stuff that we didn't like. So just so you get an idea of kind of what we're going with. So as Mr. Rein said, the story, dude, obviously it's not as amazing as the first one, but let's give it some credit. The artists, like everyone involved in this project, really, really, really went deep into it.
They give a damn. They give a damn.
Like to the fact that when you're in the main menu and you select Legends mode and it changes the menu already, it should tell you exactly what you're getting into. Like, yes, this is Ghost of Tsushima, but this is something very different than your Ghost of Tsushima. So anyway, in terms of the story, you basically play as four ghosts. Again, one of them is a Ronin, one of them is a samurai, one's an assassin, and one is a hunter. You can pick which one you want to start with, but eventually you'll be able to unlock all four. And as you go through the story mode, Uncle Iroh, as we said, or the actor who plays Uncle Iroh, is the one who narrates the story and narrates and guides you through the levels as he explains why it is that the ghosts are doing what they're doing. To be honest, it blew my mind the first time we booted. The first time we booted and we got on the first mission, and to hear not only the narration but the graphics and the art design and the fact that we're you were working towards a boss. I was not expecting that, at all.
I thought, I didn't think it was going to be that much because, like when you first start the single player, it's like, wow, this is incredible, this is amazing. Like they spent so much time doing this, and then you start up the Legends multiplayer, and you're like, holy crap! Like this is, yes, it's Ghost of Tsushima, but it's so different. And it's so they're using the same assets, but damn it, dude, Godfall, like I said, dude, doesn't even match, in my opinion, to the Legends mode. And this is a free DLC.
Yeah, no, and I think what's really good is that they could have just made this into a rehash of different missions from the single player game, but what makes it so amazing is that not only do you get 9 original chapters, with their own story that leads to a bigger plot, but you also get a completely different art style. Yes, you're still in the world of the samurai, but because it's based on more Japanese mythology, you see some weird stuff. And that is great.
And they do that so do it so right too. The music too, it's different.
Exactly. But so story-wise, I think we're not gonna go into spoilers, but it does a really good job in building up the missions, and you really want to keep going and keep beating the next one because you really want to see where the story goes. Very simple though. The stories are very simple, but it does enough for you and whoever you're playing with to get really enticed into dude, you want to do another one? Heck yeah, So I think that's great because, again, they could have just gone with a normal beat this mission and maybe get points, but the fact that they even added an extra layer of story and mythology. Fantastic.
And absolutely incredible.
So moving forward with the graphics, it's the exact same Yeah,
they're absolutely incredible.
It's the exact same graphics as as the base game. But here's the thing. So when you think of Ghost of Tsushima, you think of like, the beautiful hillside with the flowers and the really, really bright colors. I'm sure everyone has seen a lot of Ghost of Tsushima pictures. It's a beautiful game, right? So Legends, what they do is they turn that up a notch by like 200. Like
into the horror side.
Yes, exactly. So like there's gonna be a level where you go inside this tree and there's a freaking heart inside and it's going tuk, 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 and there's blood everywhere and you're fighting a ghost and it's like, what the heck is going on? But it is so awesome to look at. So
yeah, the moon that you'll see is like the fullest moon that you'll ever see in the game. It's just so potent.
And like there's even some chapters where like there's you go into like a town and the town's like deserted and there's this like really thick fog and the environment just really immerses you into like this, like you said, like the horror aesthetic of it. Because you're going to be fighting like zombie like Mongols or these like ghosts or these monsters. And I mean, like in the base game, you're fighting against samurai, Ronins, and Mongols. Like you're fighting human beings. But here you're fighting like specters and like. I mean, at one point I was expecting a demon, to show up. It's like, come on,
Right. Well, I mean, that's what the Oni are. That's what I think that's what Oni means is demon.
And the fact that Sucker Punch was able to give this platform for their artists to like go nuts with all this content, it's I commend them. Like honestly, in terms of graphics, you are getting yourself a treat.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say now is that they were so smart with how to design the levels too, because the levels are very detailed and even the little, the old PS4 is able to handle it and make it look really good, right? It's obviously not like a huge world like Cyberpunk or whatever. It's kind of a hard time, but that's part of like the genius of how they designed the game and the levels. Because when you're going through it, you don't feel like the levels are small whatsoever. No. But if you really think about the way they designed the levels, like you're really limited to as far as how far you're gonna go. But like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're really gonna go explore, or you're gonna go kill some more demons and some more like.
And that's a good Mongols. Point. Like
I want to go kill some enemies.
That's a good point because it's like you basically think of it as like each level is its little arena. So even though you can technically, tackle each arena however you want, there's no real reason for you to go out and explore. Like I think I only wanted to quote unquote explore maybe once in one of the levels, but again the levels are so well designed that you naturally don't want to do that. You just want to go straight to the next objective. And with Uncle Iroh not narrating the next steps, it's like it's almost like the game is telling you like, okay, it's pretty, but go this way,
Yeah, and they make it really obvious too with a giant door that opens up and stuff, and they just like, ooh, door, and you go through the door, and like the transition between the levels are also incredible. Like, and I think that's the loading screen too. Like while you're walking through, like, and that is so awesome.
Yeah, no, seriously, it makes going from one level to the next seamless, and what a good idea too. It's like you go into this door. And you put in like like if you look at it, like the loading level doesn't have a lot of stuff on it, but it's still so detailed and it has like, and there's purpose to it, and it goes with the story. Yep. And then you go to the next door and it's like, boom, you're in the next level. And it's like the loading times are like almost non-existent,
Yeah. Oh, it's designed in such a genius way. I'm so excited to see what Sucker Punch is going to do next. I mean, I very possibly think there's going to be a Ghost of Tsushima 2 in the future. I hope so. I mean, it's amazing.
I wouldn't mind like a Ghost of Tsushima, or instead of a Ghost of Tsushima, like you make like a sequel, but it's not set in the island of Tsushima. Like you can call it maybe Ghost of Ghost of Tokyo or something like that, and like set somewhere else. That way you have Jin's story contained. Because I mean, we can always I wouldn't mind playing Jin on the second game, but I think it'd be really cool if it's like you grab everything that you did, and then all of a sudden you tell a different story with different characters in a different location without having to be called Ghost of Tsushima. You can just call it something else, and we.
Well, exactly? Yeah. Well, what I want though is, the attention to detail, the kind of story, the Japanese themes and art, mythology, and then this incredible multiplayer. Dude, like that's what I'm saying. Like all of this in a package and do it again and better with everything that they know now and everything and everything that people have said. Dude, oh my gosh, we can have such an incredible game.
And so for our next, so now. I think we should definitely talk about mechanics, because as much as we can drool about the graphics and as much as we can drool about the story, if the game doesn't play well, then it's going to be hard to love. But good news. If you play Ghost of Tsushima single player, you basically know how to play Ghost of Tsushima Legends. It's the very same. It has the very same, how would you call it? Like controllers, I guess you call it. The controls are the exact same. It controls the same. Nothing really changes besides a few caveats. We mentioned earlier that you'll have a selection of 4 different types of play styles, right? Each play style depends on, has its own like quirks and specials, but it also kind of caters to how you've played Jin. So, for example, I went the more assassin route with Jin. And so when I started playing Legends, I went to the assassin route because it's what I was the most comfortable with, Other people might have gone with archery, like just, going the distance and, being an archer. Others could have gone straight samurai, like Master Rein.
Right. Then you have to also know too. Sorry. You dress up as someone like Yojimbo and go Ronin. So I think it's really cool that they give you these options. And not only do they just give you the options, every single one of these plays so different that once you master one, you really want to try out the other one. So I think that was really, really cool that they did that and giving you options on how to play. Well, and not only that too, but what they take away from you, because you don't exactly have everything that Jin has, because you don't have you don't have all the sword techniques, right? And you're still going to fight all the different kinds of Mongols, the heavies, the spear users, and the shield users, right? And your sword may potentially only have the ability to counter the spear, right? And you're still going to fight everybody. So the game also forces you to make sure that when you're playing with your team members, that your team members are able to supplement what you don't have. So, and that's what's also so awesome, because the way they do it, they don't give one player like too much, right? Because let's say like if you're doing the story is great.
Yeah,
with
honestly,
you pick, right? But if that's great. But if you're doing something like the horde mode or like the raid mode, for example, you need to make sure your team is ready and balanced, or else you're not going to make it. And that is awesome, because it, like I said, it actually forces you to think and work as a team. Because if you don't have the what's the name of the healer? The Ronin. The Ronin's the healer, right? Yeah. If you don't have a Ronin on a raid, like you're going to probably lose, because how are you going to get revived? And the Ronin has the ability to revive, right? So you want to complement each other with how you're playing. And not only that, but the gear that you're using, like the armor that you have, or the power-ups that you have, somebody may have the caltrops or whatever, the drops that may slow down the enemy. Somebody may have more bombs, right? Somebody may have healing so they can go off a little bit more on their own to protect certain points, right? You want to be strategic, and that is so awesome. The way that the game, I guess like the game loop, right? How the game wants you to play, it's just done in such a great way.
What's really cool too is the sign of a good co-op game is when both players really have to work together. So what I really like about that is that, because you're forced to, to really think about who you're taking with on a raid, or who you're playing with while defending points, and use what best abilities your player 2, player 3, and player 4 have. So for example, Master Rein plays as a samurai. That's considered a tank, so he can take a lot of damage. So what's something that we do a lot is that he might go and go straight at all the enemies, and then I can use my assassin abilities And while he's just busy, just distracting everyone, I can just assassinate everyone from behind, you know? And honestly, it works 90% of the time.
Oh, it works so great. Yeah. And I one of my favorite things to do is like to get that perfect parry. So I love just getting all the hordes around me and I'm just like, come at me. Who's next? Cling, shink, shink. And while he's doing that, he's just going behind everybody. Shink, shink,
Yep.
shink.
Yep. And that's really cool too, because it's like, I'm sure like if you were like, I'm pretty sure if you were arranged, if you were the archer and I was the assassin, like I have a feeling like we might have a little more trouble. you know,
Right.
you know?
That's a good point.
But I mean, not
That's
to
a good
say
point.
that you shouldn't, play with an archer for an assassin. I'm just saying like, you really have to think hard on like, okay, like the archer has these abilities. I have these abilities. What's the best game plan? And even then, we haven't even got to like the items and some of the armor that you can equip. So like, you know how Jin has all these different stances? Well, you can also equip your stances, but you can only equip one at a time. So if both players are having shield stances or the water stance or the stone stance, then you're going to have a hard time if you're fighting against enemies that are immune to that, or not immune, but just like harder to kill. So
you are at a disadvantage. You really are, because like if you think about it, you could potentially have like the heavy stance. And you don't.
So it adds an extra layer of strategy, and I really appreciate that. So
right, which it's not just combat too, because if the game really was just like, hey, here's a bunch of enemies to kill, go at them, here's a couple of like heavies, be careful. That'll be it's fun, right? But that gets kind of old after a while. So the game does throw curveballs at you. Like some enemies may have colored shields and you have to get the right color in your sword in order to defeat them quicker. Or there may be like a certain like boss enemy on the map that if you don't get rid of them first, like you will have like an extremely hard time defeating all the enemies, right? Like it makes you like there's certain mechanics and there's certain like things in every level and the raid and whatnot. Like a player may have to stand on the point while the other ones defend him or whatever. There's so many things that are like that are so creative that I'm like, this is so much for just for like a free DLC multiplayer game. Things that were not even in the main game, like the colored shields. Like none of the Mongols had a colored shield that you had to get like the electric or the sun power to go and defeat them. Like that's specifically multiplayer, and that is
what's also really good is that it may sound like a lot, right? But the game does such a good job in letting you know that you're gonna have to deal with that type of situation. So, for example, we mentioned the colored, like getting a certain color to defeat a certain colored enemy. Well, the game will start out and it'll basically tell you like, oh, that these enemies have this type of power. So now it's like, okay, that means I need to find this power up, right? And then like and while you're going on your way to find a power up, it's like surrounded by Mongols. So now you have that challenge. So again, it's the game designers definitely did a good job in like, how do we make the base game more interesting? And I think the fact that they added all these different stipulations to beat the level it's fresh. It keeps it fresh, because after 60 hours of playing the single player game and you go into the Legends, you're going to think you're like, you're like the big boss, like tough shit. But in reality, it's like they throw you curveballs and now you have to like really think of the game a little differently. So I think it's really good. And going back to the gear, the way the gear works is very similar to Destiny's.
You mean like with the drops too, like with what you're getting, like from rare to legendary to epic or whatever.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like it's very similar. Like purple means very rare. Blue, that's good. I
think orange is like exotic or something like that. Like
exactly.
Special.
And then like what's really cool too is that you get these naturally as you beat more levels, and no microtransactions nowhere. You have to get these by playing the game.
So a moment of applause. Buy them. A moment of applause to Sucker Punch for wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like you don't have, there's no loot boxes, like no microtransactions, nothing that you have to pay extra. It's like you get these items because you worked your butt off to get these items. And I want to say like 90% of the time, the stuff you get, fair. Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. It
Very fair.
Makes you feel good. It's got that serotonin hit or endorphin hit or whatever it's called. Like, it's good. You know what I'm saying?
And not only that, you can unlock a ton of costumes, a ton of masks, armor. You can unlock even like the color that you want for certain armor. You can and at one point, if you get really good with the one, like if you're chosen like an assassin, right, and you get like really, really good, you'll eventually be able to unlock Ronin and Samurai and the Hunter, and then play as them too. So, dude, like you have
so much to do.
You can customize and play however you want. Like, it's I just thinking about it just blows my mind. It's like when I found out that I can actually unlock the rest of the classes, I'm like, dude, you can play this for another 100 hours.
Oh my gosh, that's a game that you can dump. Wow, yeah, you can dump so much time. And then there's a new game plus mode with the single player. You can just do the single player again. Dude, that is Ghost of Tsushima for $60 is a steal, dude. Literally.
Yeah. We'll get there. We'll get there. So the next thing we're going to talk about is the AI. And this is where we're going to start seeing some cracks. As much as everything else in the game is fantastic, the AI is a little bit stupid. And let me explain. The AI can be very challenging, but it's because if they swarm you and you're not well equipped, you're going to die.
Yeah, which is fair.
Yeah, which is fair. But it doesn't necessarily mean that the AI is smart or good. It just means that, they're programmed to do one thing, which is kill you, and they'll do it no matter what. So one thing that I think that Sucker Punch did really well is that they added a variety of enemies, right?
Right.
So you'll never necessarily feel like the AI is stupid, but it's because you're fighting all these different enemies that require different challenges.
Right. You have the Oni who like the big demons and whatnot, who
release all these birds and dogs,
Those are the crow, I guess. But the other ones who like wave out like the big axe or whatever. Like they're like the updated version of like the heavy Mongol, but it's like a little bit bigger, has a bigger axe. And then there's that other crow enemy that you said that shoots out like those birds
so
at
annoying,
you.
Yeah.
Like if you're not taking that one out soon, right? Like we said before, then it's just gonna kill you, and that at least makes up for the lack of intelligence of the AI.
Yeah, and it's like because the AI is like they have like a death wish. It's like there can be like one guy left, and instead of like running or searching for help, it's like it's gonna stay there and fight you. Which again, I get it. Like I'm not asking the AI to be like human in terms of intelligence, but sometimes like. Even assassinating, it's like I can stand next to one guy, kill him, and then the other guy next to him didn't see me, and then it's like, really?
Yeah, like, that's funny.
It's not game breaking, but okay. So when I think of AI, I think of fear, and people will say that the reason why fear is well remembered not only because of its gameplay, it's because of the AI. Well, the reason why the AI is so great, it's because it actually calls out your movements and plays those movements against you. In this case, like for something like Ghost of Tsushima, all the enemies are close together. You get close, you assassinate them, you cut them to pieces. But there's no like, he's over here, like, or he's hiding in the bushes, or you just feel like they're there and it's like, okay, we're fighting. And then you fight and that's it. Yeah, I think my biggest gripe though is that like when you're playing as the assassin, it's sometimes a little too easy to assassinate. Like it really is.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but for a free DLC game,
I know,
and for everything that they've given us so far, it's just like I kind of get why the AI is the way it is, but that's why it's so exciting too that like they've done so much for like this multiplayer game, and for them to listen to the community and us talk about like this kind of things, like this is how they make shit better.
Well, and here's the thing too, they also compensate, like obviously the higher the difficulty you go on these levels, the more buffed and quick the enemies get. Again, not necessarily smart, just more challenging in terms of, they have more health and they deal more damage, which is very normal in video games.
Right.
The one thing that really helps the AI is the variety. And I think it's because you have a lot of variety, you don't necessarily feel like the AI is stupid.
Well, the tactic here is once you have stronger enemies and all this kind of stuff, it's really about your gear at that point. Like how are you managing your gear? What do you have? Because if you really have to know how you're playing too. Because if you love shooting a ton of bombs, and you want to make sure you're always like throwing a lot of bombs and whatever, or smoke bombs or whatever, then that's your play style, and make sure you're compensating that, right? Or if you're like me, a samurai, then I make sure that I'm always able to block arrows and I can block everything, and I have a lot of health, and I have a health pack that I take with me, so that way like I can always like heal. I'm on the go because like I am the tank, right? But if I were to play more like putting arrow bonuses on my samurai, that doesn't really work. I might as well be the arrow person, the hunter. Yeah, I might as well be a hunter if I'm going to do that, right? So you definitely have to make sure like you're geared correctly for you to face the higher levels, and then you're gonna kick their ass. Well, let's say like what are some of the cons, I guess, about this multiplayer that
like we've been praising it, throwing it flowers, but it's not a perfect game. So
it's right. So one of the first things that, especially if you play the single player, that you'll notice right off the bat is that the levels are definitely recycled from the main game, which for good reason, right? Yeah. But it's not like there's a ton of levels, so there's that. The raid is its own thing for sure, and that is great. But as far as everything else goes, you really don't have that much content compared to something like Destiny's, right?
Yeah,
and Destiny does have more levels to go through. And
like you said that the levels are recycled, but again, like you don't notice it at first because again, the art direction of each of these levels is superb. After playing it a while, you'll start recognizing the levels. Like, oh yeah, I played this on the base game. And here's the thing too, is like the higher you go on difficulty, the art direction on each level changes. So the first level is like you'll start seeing a lot of like hearts and like a lot of blood and the sky is red. But then when you change it to like medium or hard, then it gets like there's a darker blue, and then they change and there's like more birds, and it's like it's the same level, but they change it just a tad bit so that it feels a little fresh,
Yeah. So which is good.
Which again, it's good, but it's like
not bad. But
you can't help but see like, oh, we're playing this. I have to play this level 3 times. If you want to like get the completionist, right? You have to play the level 3 times. Yeah. We're just pointing it out. Like the levels are recycled, but they do a good job in like hiding that, right?
Yeah. One thing to also add too, in the cons, the raid mode I don't believe has a multiplayer, and it's a 4-person raid. I understand that usually with raids you want to make sure you're on the mic, LMG, look for a group or whatever, or LFG or whatever. But with a game like that, like everything else has like matchmaking. Why couldn't the raid have matchmaking as well? If you can have. It'd be great if you could just select, to find people to have the mic on or off, right? So if you don't really want the mic on, you can just play with people who are all quiet. You're not going to get very far, but that's the point of the raid, right? But so it'd be great if you could matchmake. That's one of my other little things, but I understand why that is not a thing.
And then another thing that docks some points off of the Legends co-op is that it can get very repetitive. Like I know that we tell you that you can play it with different styles, and you can like unlock so many things and the levels change, but like the loop basically stays the same no matter what you're doing. If you're playing the story mode, like you're gonna be doing this, like the missions will be different, but in the end it's the same thing. Like you get to a level, you kill everyone and then go to the next level, and then you kill everyone and go to the next level, and then you fight a boss and then you go to the next level. Like it, there's each level has variety, but I mean, even after a while, I got like a little, not bored, but tired, like I'm like, oh, okay, fine, I'll do this again,
Yeah, even the horde mode does get so repetitive.
Oh
dude.
My gosh, yeah.
Another wave at the beach, another wave at the boat.
And you keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It's like, it can get exciting. Like there's moments of a pure bliss when you're like the last person and you kill the last Mongol with like 1 health, and boom, you were able to revive everyone. But playing that boat level over and over again, jeez.
Right.
And finally, the the last thing I'll say is that, I mean, once you beat, quote unquote, beat the game, so like, you know, you beat the raids, you've done the defending, what's it called, that thing again? When you defend the points?
Well, I guess defend the point, the horde mode.
The horde mode
is what it is. Is what you mean? Oh yeah. Horde
so
mode,
like once you beat the raid, once you beat the horde mode, and once you beat like the story mode, like yeah, that's still a lot of content, but it's like after that, that's it. Like you're done. Like you can try to unlock maybe more, you know, more of the costumes or more gear, but you know, once you do that, it's really up to you what to, if you're gonna keep going or not.
Yeah, but you know, to add on to that, we've got some friends that, you know, they say like, hey, I normally don't play multiplayer games like this, but this game I dumped in equal amount of hours I did to the multiplayer as I did to the single player, and that's impressive. You know, for a free DLC that was just a mystery for so many people. In my opinion, it's kind of hard to, like I said, I keep saying this before, like I've said it so many times. It's kind of hard to be mad at Legends because it is free. I mean, right? You still have the PlayStation membership, right? And you have to own the game, but it's a free DLC that we didn't see coming. We just wanted this amazing single player game. We got this also amazing co-op experience.
And that's the thing too. It's a co-op experience. Like it's not necessarily just a multiplayer experience, right? It's like, no, like you are supposed to play with someone either on the couch or online.
Yeah.
You know, and again, us being a co-op, a co-op podcast, like we love that. Like the forest is literally that. Like you can like you don't have to play it with someone, but but once you add someone else and you start playing the game The Forest, it's like, dude, like there's no other way to play The Forest, right? Yeah. It gets better. Well, with Legends, it is literally made for that.
Yeah.
So like I know a lot of people say that co-op is dead and no one wants co-op. Well, it's like, dude, Ghost of Tsushima just proved you wrong. You know?
Exactly.
And you can say like, and it's like it's very different to play a multiplayer game like COD, where you can just run around and shoot people or play arenas, than to play a story-based co-op game with a bud. Like it's a very different experience.
Yeah.
You know, so like,
it's one I miss. I miss it. I love it. I love it whenever we get a chance to play like a story-based like co-op game like that. It's so much fun. Like Halo, dude. Like Halo Combat
No Way
Evolved.
Out, or The Forest, or Halo.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, so with all this in mind, let us go to the rating. Master Rein, tell us, what is your rating for Ghost of Tsushima Legends?
All right, so my rating here is going to be a little bit. I might give you 3 ratings. We'll see. If they continue updating this game into the future, this Legends, it's a 10 in my book. It is a 10 out of 10 because it shows that they're dedicated to it and they've already done so much and they're doing more. Like, that's amazing. And we should be praising companies that are doing that are going above and beyond, that are doing so much more for the consumer, that are doing so much more for the gamer. Right now, the way I feel about it, it's a 9.5, like a solid 9.5. However, if you had to buy it for, let's say, like $20, I think I would have dropped that rating down to an 8. Because there are things that are kind of missing. Like, you do need more levels for this to be like a serious standalone co-op kind of multiplayer game or whatever. Like, you do need the more levels. You do need more drops, more of a story as well. The 2 raids, that's great actually. That's actually fantastic actually. But more of the horde mode, like more options, right? Like, and even like a place to gather, so you guys can, like, you know, you and your friends can all be in like a what's it called, the tower in Destiny, right? So if you on your friends can like see like, oh, yo, check out my badass suit, and just walk around and, you know, play your flute or whatever. No enemies are around. Like, that's something that Tsushima is missing. Like, even Anthem had a place where everybody can go and gather. Well, they added it after people were asking for it, but that's my point. If Sucker Punch continues adding to this game, it's a 10 in my book. Right now, it's a solid 9.5. But quote unquote, or in parentheses, had we had to buy the game for like $10, $20, I think it would have been an 8 in my book.
So it's a 9.5.
But it's a 9.5. Yeah. But right now, because we didn't buy the game, it is an actual 9.5. That's the true rating. My true rating, 9.5.
9.5. Okay. I'm gonna give it a 9. Actually, I'm kind of with you. With I think it does get repetitive. It does. You do notice that they're reusing assets from the base game. Again, I don't blame them. If I would have had to pay $10 for this game, I probably would have given it an 8.
You too,
or even 20. I would have given it an 8.
Yeah,
because then you're putting in extra, putting some extra money for something that feels a little recycled.
Right.
But the fact that it's free, the fact that they're just giving this to us, I put 40 hours into it already. I don't know if I'm assuming Master Rein put more because he's playing it more than I do.
Yeah, dude, I have a little bit more.
One of my cousins and some of my friends, like they're like in the leaderboards.
Dude, yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
So it's like, it's definitely a 9 in my book. I think it's a fantastic co-op experience. I think it's definitely one of the great co-op games of 2020. And if you have Ghost of Tsushima, find someone to play it with. Hell, we'll play it with you.
Yes, hit us up. Hit us up. We'll find a time.
Play it with you.
So, and here's the thing about the 8 rating. Even if you have to buy it for $10 or $20, and we gave it an 8, right?
It's not bad.
An 8 in my book is still a game you should probably play, and you'll probably really, really, really love, right? Mm-hmm. A 9 to 10 in my book is a game that you definitely should play. You need to play this. That's when we say 9 is that like an 8. It's like, yeah, you pick it up, you're gonna love it. It's a great game. 9, no. This is borderline masterpiece. 10 is masterpiece in my book, right? But that's what I'm saying. Like, if they continue adding to the game, it's a masterpiece.
So before we leave, though, like we kind of wanted to give everyone a little bit of a taste of what's to come on the podcast. We're going to be streaming a lot. Currently, we're going to be streaming Halo 3. We're also going to be streaming a lot of Halo multiplayer because it seems like a lot of y'all are very interested in that. And not gonna lie, I'm interested in that. Master Rein will still be streaming his Cyberpunk whenever he has time, and I'll be finishing up my SWAT. But in the meantime, our main bread and butter is going to be some Halo. We are planning on doing themes for different months. Still, in the process of that. But just to give you an idea, we were thinking about like maybe in October, Halloween, we'll play only scary games.
Dead Space, Resident Evil.
I know. We'll play games like that. We're still thinking about exactly like how to like divide it up, but it's in the works.
Here's a little preview about May. May the force be with you.
Ooh,
always.
Yes. Oh yeah. Not only that too, like we're also going to be releasing more podcast episodes. We're trying to do this every 2 weeks, we're trying to keep that consistent, and we're still going to be uploading these to YouTube. So yeah, thank you so much for that. And speaking of which, just help us out with that YouTube and podcast algorithm. Like leave a comment, hit a like, give us a review, give us some stars on Apple Podcasts. It will really help, the podcast grow and expand and get to the people, that want to know all about co-op.
Yeah. Even if you're just writing, hi, Master Rein, or hi, Silly Squirrel, like, please, we would love it. Absolutely love it in this war against the AI algorithms. And one last thing. Our first giveaway is going to be at 100 YouTube subscribers. So definitely go subscribe because you'll know when that happens. We're getting super close. And then the next one after that will be on Twitch. But yeah, definitely go subscribe to YouTube because we are so excited to be growing this community with you guys.
Speaking of community, here's a shout out to 3 of our new friends or new Revive Me bros and gals that we've met through our streams. So shout out to Pro Spiral, my man.
What's
Thank
up?
you so much for watching our Halo, all of our Halo. He's watched all of our Halo streams, and he's always there and sharing a lot of Halo details with us, and it's always an incredible pleasure to have you and watching our games.
My man, Pro Spiral, I love having you around. I love seeing your comments come through. It's great.
Keep it going, my man. Keep it going. And then second, Spartana, where you been?
Spartana, we're doing Halo 3 soon, so get on.
I know, no. So Spartana's also been a lovely, lovely community member and a friend. And again, like, she loves her Halo, and she loves it when we play. So thank you so much. Master Rein, you want to give someone a shout out?
Oh, dude, my man Muhammad. Yo, bro, I'm so happy that like you're able to link up whenever we're on from wherever you are in the world. Like from wherever your time, I'm just so glad that like we're streaming when you're up, dude. Like I'm so happy that we met. I'm so glad that like, you helped us out with some streams too, just helping us out when things go bad, and just hanging around too when we have those hiccups is honestly, it means the world to me, because like, hey, my internet isn't the greatest. Xfinity sucks sometimes. Hey, sometimes I don't really know how to use OBS just yet. So definitely to have your patience on these streams and your love to, sticking around definitely is so valued. So valued.
But anyway, thank you so much for our supporters. We really, really love y'all. And, and that's it for our podcast. Just remember to listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. And, of course, on YouTube, where we'll be posting the video version of this podcast. This is Silly Squirrel saying, remember to revive your friends before they die, and have a good co-op.
Good night, everybody. Master Rein out.